am so proud to see my colleagues, my leaders here today, and I thank you all for being here. The media, thank you all for being here because it's important that we get this message out. I represent a generation of people who feel like at times, why are we marching? Why do we have to do this? We're looking backwards. We should be looking forward. And as I teach students, I understand that we have to be the bridge between the Dr. King generation of getting out there, putting your feet in the streets, and the present generation that doesn't see why necessarily they need to be out in the street as well. I think that one of the things we see today is that we're seeing young people recognize that they need to step forward and be their own voices, as Dr. King represented all of us and was the voice. I want to talk a little bit about building communities. I come from a community that was so encouraging, nurturing. When you go to church with teachers, when you see them in the stores, when you go to the barber shop and you see your principals and your teachers sitting next to you getting their hair cut, when you know that your parents are socializing with leaders in the community, you just feel like you're part of something that's much bigger than yourself. And we've gotten away from that in so many ways. And so to the extent that my participation in this coming march will help be a bridge so that young people feel the empowerment that Dr. King was all about. He was all about empowering yourself, your community, your state, your city, and the bottom line is this entire country was better off if we do that. Exercising your civil right, your voting right, your human right, holding government accountable. All of these were things that Dr. King said to us in his living. Civil right for one was a civil right for all. And the diminution of that right to one was a diminution of that right to all of us. And he tried to make this country see that you weren't necessarily taken away from one, you were given to all. And that was an important message that our young people seem to be getting today. And I appreciate so much the People's Movement for understanding how we must message this march, this work, and these challenges that we face here in Kentucky, so that they understand they have a stake in this. And I'm so proud of the young people, both in Parkland, Florida, and in Louisville, Kentucky, and in Lexington and other cities, where they see themselves as being not just victims, but being advocates. And they're making us, those of us who are supposed to be looking out for their interests, they're making us see our work in a different light. Dr. King was all about building up communities, rural communities, urban communities. He was all about working across lines of race, economics, religion, and those were messages that were as important, that probably are more important today than they were then. Everyone has something to contribute. And so working across party lines, working across racial lines, working across lines of economics were all things that Dr. King was all about, and the message of Dr. King's living is as important today as it ever was. And I'm proud to be a part of a movement that is keeping that message alive and helping to build bridges throughout this Commonwealth. Despite what we're getting from the first floor of the of the Capitol and the governor's mansion, we all are in this together. And it's not as a dictatorship, it's as a working partnership. And when we understand that, and I hope this message, this march, will be a message that says we have to work together to make this a better Commonwealth for all of us. And I thank you all for your work, and I thank you all for letting me be a part of it.
Thank you.